Mr. Transformers 96 here with the video review. This time I'm going to be reviewing from the Marvel Legends, the first Endgame wave from Avengers, the Armored Thanos Build-A-Figure. So yeah, so very excited to have this figure built. Obviously, when it comes to Marvel Legends, I like collecting the movie figures the most, and then as far as just anything, I'm always more interested in villains. So this is the perfect Build-A-Figure for me. Not too dissimilar to the one that we received last year, but certainly upgraded and enhanced for his look in Endgame. And there's actually, it's very different from the other versions. So this is going to be very much a comparison. I will obviously review the figure, but I'm going to be doing a lot of comparisons with both the Build-A-Figure as well as the repainted version of it from last year from Infinity War. So let's get started. Overall, this wave, the wave itself is okay. I like the movie figures in it. The Captain America Ronin and Ebony Maw, I really enjoy, especially that Ebony Maw, and I do have all of them. As far as the comic figures, could really care less about them. Two of them I just bought their Build-A-Figure pieces off of eBay from, and then two of them I did find in person. I purchased them and sold the comic figures and just kept the Build-A-Figures. So overall, I don't still have any of the comic figures. However, I do have all the movie figures in this wave, including the Build-A-Figure. Well, let's get started on. Here we have Thanos himself looking really cool. Yeah, so I was very excited to see that he was the Build-A-Figure. Really glad that we did get this new Thanos, and they didn't just go with the new Hulk or something. I could see that being for the second wave, though, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, overall, he's looking quite nice. As far as the face sculpt, it's very similar to the face sculpt that comes with the second rendition of Thanos that was released in the 3-pack for the 10-year series of Marvel. As you can see, it's almost identical. I have seen a video of somebody who removed the helmet, and it looked ever so slightly different, but I don't think it is. I think it's the same sculpt, obviously repainted. He's obviously using some teeth whitener, of course, but it's basically the same thing. And the skin tone, the purplish skin tone is the same as well. I think the eyes are a little sharper, which is nice. They have a little less pink under them, but they still have a little bit. So I think that looks good. And then the white teeth look really good. I'm not quite sure why they gave him yellow teeth originally. I don't really think that, obviously that's certainly a villain trait, but I don't think that that's a trait that really fit with Thanos. So I do like this new head sculpt. And obviously the helmet is sculpted onto it. I would have preferred him not to have that. What I would have really liked, especially since one of the figures, Captain America, didn't even come with a Build-A-Figure piece. It would have been really cool if the helmet was removable, and then they gave you the three face sculpts that we've had before: the angry head sculpt, the smirking head sculpt, and then the serious head sculpt. They just gave you all three of those with the helmet that you can slide onto it. So you can choose the expression. It also allows us to get the smiling head sculpt with the proper skin tone. So that would have been really cool and a lot better than this, in my opinion. However, be that as that may, if I were to only have one to choose from, to give this guy, this would be the one that I would choose. So I am glad that they did go with the expression head sculpt. Although he's not a massive Build-A-Figure or anything, I really don't see why he couldn't have had a few extra head sculpts for sure. And then maybe an extra hand sculpt, the open hand for the gauntlet. Those are things that they wouldn't even have to sculpt extra, they just have to give you extra. And I think that would have been really worth it. So yeah. The body, the whole thing's a new sculpt. I mean, other than the head, and although they've sculpted the helmet on it, of course, but other than the head and then the fist for the Infinity Gauntlet, I believe that those are just repainted. But the rest of the figure is 100% new. Even when it comes to the elbow down, it is new because of the way that it actually connects to the body. The other Thanoses before did not have a swivel at the elbow. They had a bend at the elbow and a swivel at the bicep. This one has swivel hinge at the elbow, no swivel at the bicep, which is a huge improvement. Actually, it was something that I didn't even know that I wanted, but I do actually want. Having this guy, he articulates a lot better, and the range of the bend on the elbow is a little bit stronger too, which is quite nice. So it has a little bit more range to it. As far as the paint, the purple is quite nice. It's done in the same purple that came out for the Thanos 3-pack. And then the gold is good. It's not a very shiny gold, but it is a nice gold, and it is sculpted quite nice throughout the figure. On the back here, looking pretty good. He has a new kind of holding hand. The hand that he holds his weapon is really kind of poor. Like, I don't understand it. Like, it's almost like a relaxed hand that they kind of, weaseled into a hand to hold the weapon. It doesn't hold it extremely tight or anything. I just don't understand why his grip is just so wide. Like, it looks like he should be holding it like a big gun or something. It should be like something that has a rectangular handle instead of such a round handle. So it'll stay in his hand, but it doesn't really look like he's holding it very much, and it kind of slides down and stuff, which is annoying. So I'm not super into that. The legs look quite nice, very armored. And yeah, overall looking good. As far as the weapon is concerned, it's done in a plain gray, and it's not accurate. If you look at the movie stills, although, we actually only have the one shot of him in the background from the core trinity of Avengers to look at the staff from, like in the actual movie. But if you look at that staff and you compare it to the Hot Toys one, that's the correct staff, because this version and the Hot Toys staff are different, and you can totally tell from that shot of him in the background that the staff in the movie is the one more accurate to Hot Toys, surprise, surprise. And the Hot Toys one is very different. It has like a roundish section in the center here, and then the blades are exactly the same width. Like, they don't, like, one side isn't out more this way and one side isn't out more this way. They're the same. Now at the very top and bottom, there is, like, this side is spiked and it goes down, and then this side spiked and it goes down. But other than that, like, they should be level with each other, and then it should have a round section at the middle. So it's not a very accurate staff. I would imagine it's just based off of some inaccurate or old concept art that they didn't end up going with. So yeah. But overall, the figure is quite nice. Going over our articulation before I get into some comparisons. Articulation's quite good. He's got a ball-jointed neck on a hinge, can look up very far. It can look down quite a bit as well, and then it does have a little bit of a pivot, which is nice. Ball hinge shoulders, your standard range. The elbows that have a hinge, and then swivel, which works really nicely, actually. And then swivel hinge wrists at the gauntlet side, it hinges in and out. For the axe side, it actually hinges up and down, which is nice, so it allows you to give some more poses with the axe. And as you can see, especially on the right side, he goes more than 90 degrees bend-wise on the elbow. And then his piece of armor over here is a rubber. It's not super soft, but it is a bit soft, so it allows you to articulate it without an issue. He crunches forward this far, back this far, which is quite nice. I did mention in one of my videos talking about the wave before it came out that it looked like he had a really good ab crunch, and he certainly does, which is great. He's got ball hinge hips. These pieces are rubber, so they don't get in the way very much. They go out this far and go to the side very far, which is nice. Swivel at the thigh. Then he has double hinge knees, which go like a full, like, collapse onto each other, which is great. And then his ankles are a hinge, and I don't even think that there's pivot, to be quite honest. I don't think that he has ankle pivot, which is annoying. Now, obviously, because, like, the armor hangs down a little bit, it would have been hindered a little bit, but this is pliable plastic here. It's not a very hard plastic, so it wouldn't be hindered by a ton. It's just a shame that he doesn't have an ankle pivot, and it's very strange, considering ankle pivots are necessity on all Marvel Legends figures. Like, I can't even think of one that doesn't have an ankle pivot other than this one, so it's just weird that they decided not to go with that. I do like the fact that his gauntlet is a different color than his armor. They've went with a darker, like copper style color as opposed to the gold for the rest of the armor, which I actually think looks really nice. So now let's get into some comparisons. Here we have him with the original Build-A-Figure from the Infinity War wave, Thanos, and then here's the kind of updated version of that Thanos that came in the 3-pack with Iron Man and Doctor Strange. So as you can see, these three look really cool together. There's obviously some clear differences. Now, what's very strange, and I mentioned this in my pop review of the new armored Thanos, is that he's smaller. Like, this is the same as the pop as it is on the Marvel Legends, that he got a lot thinner. I don't know what it is, but he really he slimmed up a bit, which is really strange. Even just the bulkiness on his legs are thinner. His torso is much thinner. His arms are the only thing that's somewhat the same, to be quite honest. So I don't know why they've kind of just slimmed out his torso and his legs, which is strange considering he should be even bulkier than the last one, considering he's wearing armor on top of his body. So it's odd. It's an odd choice to slim him out. I don't know if that's because the the Infinity War ones were just a little inaccurate. They like the original files that they gave the merchandising companies were just a little bit too bulky, and the new files, the updated ones, were more accurate for Endgame, so they slimmed him out a bit to what he should be. I'm not sure, but what's also strange is that he's a little bit taller than these two other ones too. Now the slightly taller look is good for me. Like I'm pretty happy with it because he's obviously wearing armor, so extra layer of armor at the feet, extra layer of armor at the head. Makes sense that he's a little bit taller. But even if you just look at their feet, the Endgame ones, sorry, the Infinity War ones are much more round, while the Endgame ones are much more square, which is the same with the Pops as well. So it's odd. I don't know why, like, his feet shape changed and his body type changed in between these two movies for the merchandise. So it's a little weird, but it does work. I like this new look. But if you actually think about it like that, it is a little inaccurate. And then he's basically a totally new sculpt, except for the gauntlet, like I mentioned, and he's gone to the fist that the original Build-A-Figure one had, rather than the open hand. It's interesting because the color of all the gauntlets are a little bit different, to be honest. You've got like this is like a darker one, this is the lighter one, and this is the darkest one. It's very strange. But overall, I think that he does look nice. I think he's lacking accessories, though. I think that's for sure. Just taking like the really inaccurate color-wise one out, just these two look really good together. And yeah, I think he's a nice Build-A-Figure. I'm really happy with him. It's just I feel like he certainly should come with a few more accessories. Considering they already have accessories to give him, they just need to repackage him with him, and that would be like at least one of the other two head sculpts that they have. That would be really nice. And then also an opened Infinity Gauntlet, because it's kind of annoying. Because like some poses look great with the open hand, some poses you want the fist though, and although you can interchange their hands, like I mentioned, all of the gauntlets are a little bit different colored, so they don't perfectly fit too, which is a shame. But overall, I think that this is a nice Build-A-Figure. If you have the Infinity War one, do you need this one? That's going to be based on you. If you're just somebody who's like, I love the armored look, and the unarmored look just isn't my thing, then yeah, obviously it's worth it for you to build him for the armored look. But if you have the Infinity War one and you're happy with that one, and the armored one's cool to you, but it's not like necessary, then you really don't need it, because it is the same character, obviously. You're going to be able to achieve the same poses for the most part, other than the weapon. But overall, I think that this is a really nice Build-A-Figure for me personally, just because I'm a big Marvel villains fan and I can't wait for Endgame. So I'm very happy with the Build-A-Figure. I would highly recommend it to anybody who's really into Endgame and looking forward to some of the merchandise. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of this new Marvel Legends Build-A-Figure Thanos, being the armored version from Endgame, and thanks so much for watching.